is Lily. I am 29 years old, and this is my story. I live in a pretty house with a blue door. There are flowers in the garden, yellow roses. My husband, David, planted them for me. He says they match my hair. He is a kind man. He has a gentle smile and calm, steady hands. Every morning, he makes coffee for me. He remembers I like 1 spoon of sugar. He works hard at his job. He comes home every evening at 6 o'clock. Our life is quiet. It is orderly. To anyone who looks, my life seems perfect. A good husband, a nice home, a stable life. But I am living a lie. A very big, very heavy lie. This perfect life feels like a cage, a beautiful cage, but still a cage. And my heart is not here. My heart is a visitor in my own home. Because every time my husband smiles at me, I see a ghost. I see the ghost of the man I lost. I married David to forget him. I told myself a new love would heal the old pain. I was wrong. The pain did not go away. It just learned how to hide in the quiet corners of my new life. This morning was the same. David sat across from me at the kitchen table. The sun was streaming through the window. It made patterns on the wooden floor. He was reading the newspaper. He folded a section to show me a funny picture. A cat playing a small piano. He laughed a soft, gentle laugh. "Look at this, Lily," he said. "Isn't that funny?" I looked at the picture. I tried to smile. "Yes, David," I said, "it's funny." But my smile felt like a mask. It felt stiff and cold, because his laugh was not the laugh I wanted to hear. The laugh I remember was loud. It was big. It filled the whole room and made you have to laugh too, even if the joke wasn't funny. That was Leo's laugh. My heart gave a familiar, painful squeeze. Guilt washed over me. Here was my kind husband, trying to share a happy moment. And all I could think about was a ghost. I took a sip of my coffee. It tasted bitter. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I have become very good at not crying. I met Leo when I was 21. It feels like another lifetime ago. I was a different person then. I was full of dreams. I worked in a small, cozy bookstore. It smelled of old paper and fresh coffee. I loved it there. I could read all day. I could talk to people about stories. My life was simple, but it was my own. He came in on a rainy Tuesday. The little bell on the door jingled. He shook the rain from his dark hair. He was looking for a book of poems. He couldn't remember the author's name, just a few lines from one poem. He said the lines to me. His voice was warm and deep. I knew the book. I loved that book. I found it for him on a high shelf. Our fingers touched when I gave it to him. It felt like a little spark of electricity. A tiny, surprising jolt. We started talking. We talked about the book, then about other books, then about music and movies and travel. He had a dream to visit Japan, to see the cherry blossoms. I told him I wanted to go to Italy, to eat real pasta and see the old buildings. We talked for over an hour. He made me forget about the rain outside. He made me forget I was working. When he finally left, he smiled that big, beautiful smile. "I'm Leo," he said. "I'll be back tomorrow." And he was. He came back the next day. And the day after that. He didn't always buy a book. Sometimes he just came to talk. The bookstore became our place. He learned how I took my coffee. I learned he loved dogs. He told me he was studying to be an architect. He wanted to build beautiful houses for families. He was full of life, full of passion. He saw the world in bright colors. I was used to seeing the world in soft, quiet shades. He showed me how bright it could be. Our love story was easy. It felt like breathing. It wasn't complicated. It was just right. Our first date was a walk in the park. He bought me a strawberry ice cream cone. I dropped mine on the ground by accident. I was so embarrassed, but he just laughed his big laugh. He gave me his cone. "We can share," he said, and we did. In that small moment, I felt safe. I felt like I could make a mistake, and he would still be there, smiling. We spent all our free time together. We explored the city. We found little cafes and hidden gardens. He held my hand all the time. His hand was big and warm around mine. It felt like home. He would look at me sometimes, with so much love in his eyes. "What are you thinking, Lily?" he would ask. I would tell him everything. My fears, my hopes. He listened. He really listened. I felt seen. I felt understood. I remember one night, we were sitting by the river. The city lights were twinkling on the water. It was a little cold. He gave me his jacket. "I'm going to marry you one day, Lily," he said. His voice was soft, but sure. My heart felt like it was going to burst with happiness. "I know," I said, because I knew it too. A future without him was unimaginable. We were planning our life. A small house. Maybe a dog. 2 children, a boy and a girl. We talked about it for hours. It all felt so real. So close. We were together for 3 years. 3 perfect, beautiful years. They were the brightest years of my life. He was my first thought in the morning. He was my last thought at night. He was my best friend, my home, my everything. I thought our story would go on forever. I thought we had all the time in the world. The day it happened started like any other day. It was a sunny Thursday. He kissed me goodbye before he went to his work. "I love you," he said. "I love you more," I replied. It was our little game. It was the last thing I ever said to him. He was working on a construction site, a new building downtown. There was an accident. I got a phone call. A voice I didn't know. A man from the hospital. He said words like accident, serious, and come quickly. I ran. I ran all the way to the hospital. My mind was a blur. It couldn't be true. Not Leo. He was strong. He was careful. But it was true. I saw his parents in the waiting room. His mother was crying. His father looked pale. A doctor came out to talk to us. He had a sad look in his eyes. He said they did everything they could. But Leo was gone. Gone, the word didn't make sense. How could he be gone? I just saw him this morning. He was just here. The world stopped. The sounds in the hospital faded away. The bright lights seemed to dim. All I could feel was a cold, empty space opening up inside my chest. A huge black hole where my heart used to be. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I was in shock. It felt like a bad dream. A nightmare I would wake up from. But I never woke up. Life after Leo was not life at all. It was just existing. The bright colors he had shown me all turned to gray. Food had no taste. Music was just noise. I quit my job at the bookstore. I couldn't stand being in our place without him. Every corner held a memory. Every book on the shelf reminded me of him. My friends and family tried to help. They brought me food. They sat with me in my silent apartment. They told me it would get better with time. But how could it? Time felt like an enemy. Every new day was just another day without him. I built a thick wall around my heart. I didn't want to feel anything. Feeling was pain. So I chose to feel nothing at all. I was lost in that gray fog for 2 years, just drifting. I didn't laugh. I barely smiled. I was a ghost of my former self. My parents were worried. They wanted to see their happy daughter again. That's when I met David. He was a friend of my father's colleague. My parents invited him for dinner. They wanted me to meet a nice young man. I didn't want to go, but I went just to make them happy. David was the opposite of Leo. Where Leo was loud and bright, David was quiet and calm. Where Leo was passionate and spontaneous, David was steady and predictable. He didn't tell big jokes. He didn't have grand dreams of traveling the world. He talked about his job at the bank. He talked about saving money. He was safe. He was simple. He didn't ask me about my past. He saw that I was sad. But he didn't push. He just sat with me. He was patient. He started calling me. He asked me to go for a walk or to a quiet movie. I said yes sometimes, not because I was happy to go, but because it was easier than saying no. It was easier than being alone with my thoughts. He was kind. He was reliable. He was everything a good man should be. But my heart was locked. It was still Leo's. But I was so tired of the pain, so tired of the grief. I just wanted it to stop. One evening, after we had known each other for about a year, David asked me to marry him. We were sitting in his car. It was parked outside my apartment. He didn't have a ring. He just said, "Lily, I think we should get married. I can take care of you. We could have a good life. A good life, not a happy life. Not a life full of love. A good life. Stable, quiet, safe. A life without the sharp edges of grief. A life where I didn't have to feel so much." My family wanted this for me. They thought he was the answer. They thought he could fix me. And a desperate part of me wanted to believe them. Maybe he could. Maybe a new life could bury the old one. Maybe I could forget Leo if I tried hard enough. Maybe I could learn to love David. So I closed my eyes. I saw Leo's smiling face for a second. And then I pushed it away. I opened my eyes and looked at David. "Okay," I whispered. "Yes, let's get married." It was the biggest lie I have ever told. Our wedding day was a cloudy day. It felt right. My dress was white and simple. David looked handsome in his suit. I walked down the aisle. I saw my parents smiling with tears in their eyes. They were so happy. They thought I was happy too. I said the words. "I do," but my voice felt like it belonged to someone else. At the reception, David held my hand. His hand was warm, but it wasn't Leo's hand. It didn't feel like home. We moved into this house with the blue door. David started his garden. He tried so hard to make me happy. He bought me gifts. He took me to nice restaurants. He told me he loved me. I would say, "I love you too." But the words felt empty. They tasted like lies on my tongue. Living with him is like living with a kind stranger. We share a house. We share a bed. But we don't share our hearts. My heart is a locked room, and I lost the key a long time ago. Sometimes the ghost of Leo is so strong, I can barely breathe. Last month, it was our anniversary. David took me to a fancy restaurant by the sea. He had planned everything. He bought me a beautiful necklace, a small silver locket. "You can put a picture inside," he said, smiling. My throat felt tight. Leo once gave me a locket, a quirky, heart-shaped one he found in an old antique shop. He had put a tiny, silly picture of us inside. I still have it, hidden in a box. I couldn't tell David that, so I just smiled my fake smile. "It's beautiful, thank you," I said. All through dinner, I felt like I was cheating. Cheating on David. Cheating on Leo's memory. The sound of the waves outside reminded me of a night with Leo on the beach. I had to excuse myself and go to the bathroom. I locked the door and cried silently. I cried for the man I lost, and I cried for the good man I was lying to every single day. David knows something is wrong. He is not stupid. He sees the sadness in my eyes. He feels the distance between us in our quiet home. He tries to reach me. "Are you okay, Lily?" he asks sometimes. His voice is full of concern. "You seem far away." "I'm just tired," I always say. It's my easy excuse, my shield. He usually accepts it. He'll make me a cup of tea. He'll suggest we watch a movie. But I see the hurt in his eyes. He knows there is a wall. He just doesn't know what it's made of. He doesn't know it's built from the memories of another man. Last week, we were cleaning out the attic. David found an old box of my things from before we were married. Before he could stop me, I opened it. On the very top was a photograph. It was me and Leo. We were at a summer fair. He had his arm around me. We were both laughing. That big, beautiful laugh. We looked so young, so happy, so full of life. Seeing his face so suddenly was like a punch to the stomach. All the air left my body. I dropped the photo as if it were on fire. David saw it. He picked it up. He looked at the photo. Then he looked at me. My face was pale. My eyes were wide with pain. "Who is this, Lily?" he asked. His voice was very quiet. I couldn't speak. I couldn't lie anymore. Not about this. My throat was closed. I just shook my head. Tears started to stream down my face, not the silent tears I cried in the bathroom. These were big, messy, painful sobs. All the grief I had been pushing down for years came rushing up. All the pain, all the loss, all the guilt. It all came out in a flood. David didn't get angry. He just stood there, holding the picture, watching me fall apart. He looked at the happy man in the photo. Then he looked at me, his broken wife, crying on the dusty floor of the attic. And I think, in that moment, he finally understood. He didn't understand the whole story, but he understood that the ghost in our house had a name. And it wasn't his. The silence after my crying stopped was the heaviest thing I have ever felt. The attic was dark and cold. David helped me stand up. He led me downstairs to the living room. He sat me down on the sofa. He made me a cup of tea, just like he always does. He put it in my trembling hands. He sat in the chair opposite me. He didn't speak for a long time. He just looked at me. His face was sad, so incredibly sad. "Tell me about him," he finally said. His voice was soft, not angry, not accusing, just tired. And so I did. For the first time, I told someone the whole story. I started from the beginning. The bookstore, the rainy Tuesday, the strawberry ice cream. I told him about Leo's laugh, about his dream to see the cherry blossoms. I told him about our plans for the future. The house, the dog, the children. Then I told him about the accident, the phone call, the hospital, the empty feeling that followed. I told him how I tried to disappear into my sadness. And then I told him the hardest part. I told him why I married him. I was broken, I whispered, looking at my hands. I was so tired of hurting. I thought you could fix me. I thought marrying you would make the pain go away. I thought I could forget him and learn to love you. It was a lie, David. I was lying to you, and I was lying to myself. I am so sorry. The tears started again. But this time, they were tears of truth, of release. The heavy secret was finally out. It was floating in the air between us, ugly and painful. But it was out. David listened to every word. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, the room was quiet again. I was so scared to look at him. I had just destroyed our marriage. I had just told this good, kind man that our whole life together was built on a foundation of lies and ghosts. He had every right to hate me, to scream at me, to leave. But he didn't. He let out a long, slow breath. "I knew there was something, Lily," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I always knew a part of you was somewhere else. I hoped that one day you would come back to me. I didn't know you were so lost." He looked down at his hands. "I'm not angry," he said quietly. I'm just hurt, and I'm sad for you. Sad that you carried all this alone. His understanding was almost more painful than anger would have been. He was still being kind. Even now. I looked at him, really looked at him, not as a replacement, not as an escape, but as David, a man I had hurt terribly. What happens now? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I don't know, he said honestly. I need some time to think, Lily. This is a lot. I think I need to stay with my brother for a few days. My heart sank. He was leaving. Of course he was leaving. But I nodded. Okay, I said. I understood. He packed a small bag. At the door, he turned to me. His eyes were full of pain. You didn't just marry a ghost, Lily, he said softly. You married me. I wish you had let me get to know you, the real you, even the sad parts. Then he left. The blue door closed with a quiet click, and I was alone, truly alone, in the quiet house, with no more lies to hide behind. The ghost was out. The secret was told. There was nothing left but me and my grief. The first few days were empty. The silence in the house was deafening. I walked from room to room. I saw David's empty coffee cup, his side of the bed neatly made. Everywhere I looked, I saw the space he had left. A space I had created with my lies. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to grieve for Leo. Properly. I took out the old box. I looked at his pictures. I read his old letters. I cried and cried until I had no more tears. I didn't try to stop it. I didn't try to hide it. I just let the sadness wash over me. It hurt. It hurt so much. But it was a clean pain, an honest pain. After a few days of crying, something strange happened. I woke up one morning. The sun was shining. I felt lighter. The heavy weight on my chest was still there, but it wasn't crushing me anymore. The gray fog seemed a little thinner. I went into the garden. I looked at the yellow roses David had planted. They were beautiful. I touched a soft petal, and I felt a small, tiny flicker of something. Not happiness, but peace. I realized I had been doing it all wrong. I tried to bury my grief, to run away from it. But grief is not something you can run from. It's a part of you. It's the price you pay for love. And my love for Leo was real. It deserved to be remembered, not hidden. I also realized that I had been unfair to David. So unfair. He was a good person. He deserved a wife who could love him fully. A wife who wasn't in love with a memory. By trying to escape my past, I had ruined his present. David came back a week later. I was nervous. My hands were shaking. He looked tired. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table where we had so many silent breakfasts. I've done a lot of thinking, he said, and I'm still hurt, Lily. But I think I understand. You were lost. You made a mistake. A very big one. He looked at me directly. The question is, what do you want now? I took a deep breath. I want to heal, I said honestly. For real this time. I need to learn how to live with my past, not run from it. I need to find out who I am without Leo, and without hiding. And I need to let you go, David. It's not fair to you. You deserve to be happy, to be loved properly. I started to cry again. I'm sorry I used you. I'm sorry I couldn't love you. He reached across the table, and for the first time, I let him take my hand. His hand was warm and steady. Maybe, he said slowly, maybe what you need is a friend, not a husband. I don't know if our marriage can be fixed, Lily. But I don't want to abandon you either. Maybe we can find a new way. Separately, but not as enemies. And that's where we are now. It is not a happy ending from a storybook. It is a real ending, a complicated one. David moved into the guest room. We are living like roommates. We are talking, really talking, for the first time. I tell him about my bad days, when the grief feels heavy. He listens. He tells me about his work. I listen. There are no more lies between us. The house is still quiet, but it's an honest quiet now. I started seeing a therapist, a kind woman who is helping me navigate my grief. I am learning that it is okay to be sad. It is okay to miss Leo. Remembering him doesn't mean I can't live. In fact, remembering him, honoring our love, is the only way I can start to truly live again. I don't know what will happen with me and David. Maybe one day he will leave and find someone who can give him the love he deserves. Maybe we will build a new kind of relationship, a friendship born from a broken marriage. I don't know. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I am not scared of it, because I am not running anymore. I am facing my truth. I am healing, slowly, one day at a time. My big mistake, marrying to forget him, almost destroyed me. But telling the truth, choosing honesty, has started to set me free. If you are listening to this, and your heart is heavy with pain or a secret, please know you are not alone. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to grieve. But don't try to hide your pain. Don't try to bury it. It will only grow in the dark. Be brave. Face your truth. It will be hard. It will hurt. But it is the only way to heal. You are stronger than you think. You can find your way back to the light. Keep going.